come from a town an hour away from Stuttgart. And where I grew up, it was like two teams. Either you were a Bayern Munich supporter or a VfB Stuttgart supporter.
For me, one of the big difference. Less tittle, but then more emotional.
But nobody took attention of it, because at that night the wall between East and West Germany fell.
The biggest clash in southern Germany pits two of the country's leading industrial and economic hubs against each other.
They have a lot of things in common. For example, both cities produce cars, BMW or Mercedes, Porsche, for example. It's also like one kind of rivalry, who has the better cars, who builds the better cars. And Bavaria and Baden-Württemberg are like the biggest economy in Germany. So I think that's also like a big part of who's better and who's more successful in general.
But the rivalry goes far beyond the pitch, representing two projects fighting for glory and prominence. In the southern clash, Bayern Munich and VfB Stuttgart step on the gas as regions that are both sisters and rivals go head-to-head.
The first point is that they are both located in the southern part of Germany. And Stuttgart was in the first division before Bayern Munich came up. They came up later, 2 years later.
Against Stuttgart is for me the most important game in the year. It means a lot to me.
To the east on the map, Munich stands out as a top tourist destination, steeped in classic Bavarian stereotypes, and home to one of Germany's most popular events, Oktoberfest.
You have got the big Oktoberfest, which is the original, and the Stuttgart has got the Cannstatter Vasen, which is a big beer festival as well. So some people say Stuttgart is copying the beer festival of Munich.
I think a lot of football fans in Stuttgart, they don't like people in Stuttgart wearing lederhosen because it's like a Bavarian thing.
The football is here in the region very necessary. At the weekend, when the home games walked from Stuttgart, the biggest club here in the area, well, the fans was known for one of the biggest supporters from the league. We have one with the most away fans every year in the league.
On the pitch, Bayern Munich hold one of the most impressive records in the league. This is the fixture with the highest number of wins by one team over another in the history of the Bundesliga.
Every club, even Stuttgart, to some extent, wanted to be as successful as Bayern Munich. Winning titles and cups and stuff, it had always been a shining example to some extent. And they just didn't like that Bayern Munich won most of his games and stayed at the top for all the time.
But that does nothing to diminish the weight of this rivalry, because the cultural differences between the two regions are also reflected in their clubs.
I think this is coming from the past and it's coming also to the football, I think.
I don't think there's like a special point where this rivalry started. I think it's the proximity. There was always tension between both clubs.
While Bayern are able to attract some of the biggest stars in world football, VfB Stuttgart have often had to rebuild, and in the process developed one of Germany's most respected youth academies, producing talents such as Sami Khedira, Mario Gomez, Timo Werner and Joshua Kimmich.
Well, that was a pattern for Stuttgart to increase their quality, to develop talent players, because they didn't have that much money compared to Bayern, so they had to run talent departments and develop young players, and they did.
Players who have big potential, but it's not already was big players. Stuttgart make big players. They then go later to Bayern Munich.
So they called the young wilds, because they had a lot of young players developing, Kevin Kurani, Andreas Hinkel and all this stuff, who in, I don't know, even made it to the Champions League. And they beat Manchester United 2-1 at home. It was a festival for the city, and but they did it with the young players they had to develop.
Junge Wilden, or the Young Wild Ones, once challenged the dominance of Bayern Munich, and in 2007 they powered VfB Stuttgart to their most recent Bundesliga title, in a campaign that included a crucial victory over Bayern on the road to the trophy, with 2 goals from Kakao.
But we have also here in Stuttgart a lot of big games where I remember in the season where we were then German champion in 2007. We were so good at this game. We controlled it the whole 90 minutes, and this was one of my favorite games. It was shortly to the end of the season, and that's where the point where Bayern Munich know they never get champion in this season, with where we bet them.
Actually, there are several iconic results for the west side of the map that help explain the mystique behind this clash. Like in 2018, when VfB Stuttgart achieved its highest competitive victory against FC Bayern in their 100th Bundesliga duel, winning by 4-1 in Munich. Or when a newly promoted Stuttgart held Bayern to a spectacular 3-3 draw in 1977, featuring an exclusive brotherly duel between Uli Hoeneß in Bayern and Dieter Hoeneß in Stuttgart, in a match considered one of the starting points of the intense rivalry between the two clubs. But the magic behind the stories goes far beyond the pitch.
It was in 1987, I think, when Bayern played, when Stuttgart played Bayern at home, and Jürgen Klinsmann scored this tremendous goal. He was later elected to the goal of the year in Germany, when chipping the ball, flying up in the air and kicking it in backwards. This was a big thing. And the coach at that time, Ari Hahn, he went to astrology before the game, asking the stars. And he gave Jürgen Klinsmann, who was a striker, and at that time they would traditionally wear the number 9. But he said, well, the stars told me it's got to be the number 3.
Wie war das mit dem ersten Tor? Okay, kann man schlecht beschreiben. Das ist so eine Instinktsache. Man probiert es einfach und es hat geklappt. Das ist schön.
And so he gave him the shirt with the number 3, and he scored this tremendous goal. So the stars were right. And there was another tremendous game. It was on November 9th, 1989, when Stuttgart played Bayern here in Stuttgart in the German Cup. And they won 3-0, which was a big surprise and a big achievement. But nobody took attention of it, because at that night the wall between East and West Germany fell.
Beyond its presence in historic moments of the country, the Southern Clash was also the stage for some of Bayern Munich's greatest moments. The 1986 DFB Cup final between the two sides is remembered for its drama and attacking flair, ending 5-2 to Bayern after future World Cup winners Jürgen Klinsmann and Guido Buchwald each missed a penalty. 11 years later, Bayern secured the championship with a 4-2 victory over Stuttgart on the penultimate matchday. For more than 60 years, the Southern Clash has continued to ignite fans and passions, while VfB Stuttgart take pride in staying competitive with homegrown talents and a style of their own. Bayern Munich fight to maintain their dominance over the Bundesliga, never taking their southern rivals out of sight.
It's easy to be a fan from Bayern Munich because there was so often German champion, win the Champions League. It's harder with VfB Stuttgart. We also go down in the second division and have a lot of years where we play really horrible football, but I always be a fan from VfB Stuttgart. I have a lifetime membership, and it's coming from heart, from passion, and this is for me one of the big difference. Less title, but then more emotional.
There are glory hunters at every club, and I get the argument, but for me, I can only speak about myself. Like, I'm a Bayern Munich supporter. Whenever we lose, whether we lose, we win, we draw, like, for me, it doesn't matter. wearing a Bayern Munich scarf or a jersey is like an armor for me.